people are already like, here they go again. You know, I already know. It's an automatic way of listening. This idea of it won't make a difference.
Yeah.
I get into that with my teachers all the time. So we go to this training, professional development, something like that. And, you know, they don't want to try anything new. They don't want to try, there's nothing new under the sun. Here's this program. They don't want to hear it. But there's this idea that it's not going to make a difference. Our kids are this way, our kids are that way, and it doesn't matter what it is that we teach them. They're just, you know, whatever. It's not going to make a difference. Or, you know, even if we're a little more optimistic and we're thinking about, you know, we're in the church or whatever. Sometimes when we talk about outreach, sometimes we talk about inviting people, we have this sense of it's not going to make a difference. Because of our past experience or because we went and did 20 inviter cards last week and nobody came.
Come on.
Yeah.
So we're listening, but we're like, it's not going to make a difference. So you want to set aside this idea of automatic listening. You want to develop, number 2, a creative way of listening. And so listening is kind of like the theme of both 1 and 2. But it's because you have to actually remove the first way of listening in order to implement the second way of listening. And so you want to listen with an open mind. You want to listen with a try it on and see way of listening. Listen for how the conversation can contribute to what is being worked on. Listen for nuggets of gold in the conversation. I can talk to almost anybody and get something out of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like literally. It doesn't matter who the person is. I can always find a nugget of gold in the conversation. I mean, I talk to little kids all day long and find tons of nuggets in their conversation. I was talking to one kid, and they got hurt. I came to the office, and she just was talking about, what hurt her and everything like that. And I was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna get an ice pack because at my school, ice packs and Band-Aids make everything better, okay? So you just need ice packs and Band-Aids, okay? So I'm like, okay, you want an ice pack, you want a Band-Aid? I just offer both sometimes. And so she sits down in the chair and she says, Miss Medina told us on the first day, if you go too fast, then you'll be on the floor and you'll cry just like I am now. I mean, she said it exactly the way that her teacher had said it to her. And she had this idea of, like listening the first time. And I'm thinking to myself, what an amazing thing that she's learned out of this. And she was able to self-reflect. I didn't tell her, think about what you did, anything like that. No, she sat there and she self-reflected. And so there's this idea that you want to always listen for nuggets of gold in the conversation. I think a lot of times we find ourselves in different settings and we just feel like, what could I possibly get out of this? What could I possibly, gain from doing this? Especially when you lack understanding sometimes of what actually is going on. And so you want to develop a creative way of listening. So when somebody gets up to speak to you, when you're at work, when you're at church on a Sunday, you want to think about try it on and see. Try it on and see. How can this conversation contribute to what I'm working on? And then also listen for nuggets of gold in the conversation. This makes you a more coachable person. Why? Because this speaks to reflection.
That's good.
So if you're listening creatively, it makes you more coachable. Nobody can be coached if they already know it.
Yep.
Nobody can be coached if they feel like, well, going to the gym an extra time is not going to make a difference. Nobody can be coached if they're always looking to agree or disagree with somebody. So it makes you more coachable. Number 3.
Good.
Clarify your game plan. Okay? Well, kind of still with the sports thing, but it still relates to us because why are you here? What should you be accomplishing? What is your game plan? A lot of times when you go a place and you don't know why you're there, you'll leave before you actually get what you were there for.
Wow.
Because you have no idea what your game plan is. So you go in, you go out. Why? Because there really is no game plan. So if I am going to school, then I know that my game plan while I'm here is to finish, to get whatever kind of grades, whatever the case may be. Okay? If I have a game plan on what or the way that this is actually going to help me in my life in the future, I'm more apt to actually finish and see it through than the person who's thinking on the first day of school is a waste of time. I'm never going to do anything with this. What's the point of this? Oh, this is not going to make me better. I'd rather be doing this. I'd rather be doing that. Why? Because they don't actually have a game plan. So what is your game plan? What's your game plan for serving? Why are you here? What's your game plan with kingdom culture? Why are you here? What brought you here? What was it that attracted you here? A lot of times, the most disheartening thing for me, a lot of people, they'll say like, oh, I came to kingdom culture because I want a community. But they're not in a connect group.
Woman of God.
But I'm like, but you came for a community. But you're not a connect group. You don't serve on a team. You don't come to any of the fellowships. You missed the all-in retreat, and you didn't come to the picnic. So did you come for community?
Yeah.
And so the thing is, you have to actually have a game plan of what it is that you want to get accomplished. If you came here because you want to have a better relationship with the Lord, okay, are you working on your relationship with the Lord? Because that's not going to happen automatically. So if you came here because you're like, I just want a better relationship with the Lord. Okay, so now we have to actually have a game plan on how you're going to get that better relationship with the Lord. You're not going to get a better relationship with the Lord by saying, preach apostle. That's not going to make you have a better relationship with the Lord. And what you'll find is you'll come week after week after week, and you'll have this gut feeling that something's wrong. I'm not getting what I need. I'm like, something's not happening for me because you don't even know what your game plan was or what the purpose was. So you don't have any steps to actually get there. So if your goal was to have a better relationship with the Lord, that means you got to take that message from Sunday, then you got to take it to the Lord. And you have to commune with the Lord and have a conversation about that message. You have to do these things to actively move in that direction. I want to be stretched in my gifts. That's why I came here. I want to be stretched in my gifts. We had somebody that joined the downtown campus maybe 4 months ago. She said she wants to be stretched in her gifts. She had a church she went to. They didn't prophesy. They didn't let her prophesy. Everything like this. She goes through next steps. I'm like, yes, next steps. Go on, girl. I asked her, what ministry do you want to join? She said the greeters. Okay. Remember when you visited and you said that you were looking to be stretched in your gifts, and remember you mentioned prophesying and stuff? Did they tell you about the prophetic team? Cool. And she's like, oh yeah, but I think I just need to join greeters for now. Okay. Well, she's gone. She didn't stay. She left because she was not working on her game plan. And so she eventually felt like this is not the place for her. She actually did need to go back to her old church and on and on and on, all this little thing, the story that she gave me. And I'm like, I'm fine with it. Because the thing is, I want for you to go to kingdom culture to make you better, not to make me better.
Right.
So if you don't have a game plan, you won't get better. I'm getting better because I got a game plan. And so whether it's you in the seats, other people in the seats, great. Whoever is in the seat, I want you to actually have a plan. That's how you become coachable. I can't coach you on something I don't know where you're going. It is the most disheartening thing to have a counseling meeting with somebody and they don't know what they want.
Ma'am.
And they're like, I don't know.
That is so good.
I don't know. And it's like, you're like, I'm fishing, I'm trying. I went to Nectar with Mama Juliet, and she said, you know, Pastor, I wanted to come here with you because I want to get to know you better. I want to know more about you personally, and I just want to build relationally with you. I said, great, I can work with that. So we talked about me personally. We talked about what I like. We talked about what I don't like. We talked about my whole personal life. She would not have benefited had I sat down and wanted to talk to her about prayer and growing the prayer team. Why? Because she wanted something else.
Right.
She wanted something else. That's what she wanted out of that meeting. That's what she wanted to get accomplished. You have to have a game plan. That's how you become coachable. Number 4, consider whether you are really open to coaching. I like to throw this one right in the middle. Because I'm like, if you're not open to being coached, then you're not coachable. Okay? What do I mean by that, right? Sounds weird. No. If you're not open to changing, you're not coachable. Yeah. You don't want to change nothing, so what am I coaching you to? You just stay the same. You don't want to change, so there's nothing to coach you on. You don't need a coach to be the same way you are. Then you don't need a coach. If you are not open to evaluation, you're not coachable. If I can't tell you you're doing something wrong without you being butthurt, you're not coachable.
Come on, babe.
Yep.
Correction. If you are not open to correction, you are not coachable. Scott was at the downtown campus. He was having a little issue, a little sound issue. Apostle had to tell him to get it together. He told him right on the mic, pull it together. Well, I don't have time for this. Come on.
Don't imitate
And he told
Don't do
him,
that.
and whatever. So Scott walked off the stage. Well, somebody that doesn't know Scott said, "Oh, Scott, don't get an attitude. Don't do that. Don't do that." Well, I know Scott, so I know Scott ain't crazy. I know Scott ain't crazy. He went. He switched out his guitar.
Not
and
with
he
me.
came back on stage. So it was nothing. He wasn't pouting or having a fit or whatever. He may have felt some kind of way, but he didn't have that kind of fit. But you have to be actually open to being evaluated. Imagine a coach who just stood on the sidelines and kept telling you, "Do what you're doing."
Right.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
Keep doing what you're
Right.
doing. Run the ball the same way you did last week. Throw the ball the same way you did last week. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't run no faster. Don't run no slower. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh, you're great. You're so good at this. Yes, yes, yes. You would never get a scholarship. You would never get recruited to do anything. Why? Because you would never grow.
So good.
And so think about whether you really are open to coaching. Because if you're really open to coaching, you're open to changing. You're open to evaluation. You're open to correction. Number 5, don't assume that you are automatically coachable. This one's different.
That's good.
Because first you ask yourself the question, okay, am I open to it? And then also the reverse of that is don't assume that it happens automatically. So sometimes people say things like, "I'm here, ain't I?"
Right.
Or they say things like, "Well, I went to School of Excellence. I went to prayer. It's just not working."
Right.
So don't assume that it comes automatically. You have to actually work for it. You have to actually work to be coached. You have to work to be coachable. That means that you play an active role in you being coached correctly. So the problem, more often than the coach having something wrong with the coach, is our level of coachability.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things that I could learn from a lot of people.
Right.
So sometimes you need a multiplicity of coaches.
Very true.
You need to tap into what that coach is really good at. That's why sometimes you have lead coach and you have a bunch of assistant coaches. When I went to USC, that was part of the things that I did. I used to give tours to the people that were coming to be recruited for our sports program. So we would wine and dine them, show them all the fancy stuff. I would introduce the guys to some girls. I would take them to some parties. I'm serious. I showed them a good time for the weekend. So part of our contract was, I couldn't do nothing with them, but I definitely showed them where they could get everything done. And so I facilitated that experience for them. I coached them in there, But one of the things about it is you have to consider this idea that it doesn't come automatic. You have to work for it. You have to look for it. You have to go on a tour. You have to find out what are the good things about this place. What are the things that they really thrive in? What are the things that I maybe need a couple of books and I maybe need to meet somebody else to coach me in this thing. But what are the areas of expertise that I can really glean from here? And you have to be active in that. Number 6, be sure the coaching is showing up on the field.
Wow.
That makes a person more coachable, guys.
That's very good.
So if you're being coached in something and there's no fruit of it, that means you're not very coachable.
Wow.
Because there's something happening. There's something called a processing disorder. So there's something that's not translating. So you're getting coached on it, and then there's no fruit. There's no reflection of what actually is happening. One of the things I do, I constantly evaluate the conversations I'm having. Now, the only conversation I've been having recently is with my computer, okay, because I'm working on my dissertation. But normally, when I am having conversations with people and interacting with people, I usually will adjust that based on the fruit.
Very true.
And it's not a control issue. It's just, it makes sense. So if I'm giving, I'm watering, ain't nothing growing. I go up here, I water once a week, I check on it here and there. Every time I come, it's a new piece of fruit. I'm looking like, well, maybe I need to spend more time over here. Because why? Because it's actually showing up.
That's right.
Because I can actually see the fruit of it.
Wow.
I can see the fruit of the labor. I can see the fruit of the conversations. And not that I'm never going to go to that field, but maybe I should come here every week, and maybe I go there once a month.
Right.
Or maybe, this is something that's a little more distant. Maybe it's not necessarily hands-on. Part of being coachable is actually having fruit of the coaching.
Wow.
Number 7, stand for being coachable. Okay, what does that mean? You need to advocate for your own growth and development.
Wow.
Say what you need and relentlessly pursue it.
Relentlessly pursue.
Relentlessly pursue it. You have to become an advocate for your growth. One of the things that I always think about, especially in this situation, is this idea of, I used to be a cheerleader at John Muir, and when you came to a certain time, then the sports recruiters start coming, and you knew who they were looking at, okay? And so one of the things that the people would do, or that the athletes would do, is they would go to the coach and they would let them know, like, hey, you need to put me in. Like, they would advocate for it. They would not just sit on the sideline like, oh well, maybe not today. I guess I'm not going to Purdue. Like, whatever the case may be, they're not just going to sit there on the sideline or say, well, he never put me in. I guess my career is over. But that's the kind of stuff that we do, especially when it comes to ministry.
Very true.
We had a person try out for the worship team. Couldn't sing.
Just couldn't.
I
don't even know what you're talking about, but I can say.
You don't know what I'm talking
No,
about?
I'm just saying amen
for the worship team, and it wasn't good. You know what I mean? They probably are a worshiper at heart and stuff like that, and it's my understanding they have some different skills or whatever. But musically, y'all so rude. Okay, so anyways, this person has some different skills, and I'm guessing you're periscoping or something like that.
I am.
Okay, so I'm not going to say what their other skills are.
I appreciate you for that,
because I don't want them to be identified.
Thank you.
So they had some other skills, and so the conversation that I had to have with the leader of this ministry was this idea that we have to be honest with people about where they are, but also help them find avenues where they can thrive. Yeah. And if that person really strongly feels, no, I don't want to do that other stuff, I want to be a singer on the mic, then that person needs to advocate for their own growth and development. What does that look like? That person needs to say, I'm committed to this. I'm going to go take voice lessons. Not be butthurt because Pastor Crystal said they can't be on the worship team. No, they're going to advocate for their own coachability. And then they're going to come back the next month and they're going to show her, this is what I've been working on. This is what I've been working on. This is what I've been working on. I have people that want to be leaders. They have a really tough time being on time. When they go through rough seasons in their life, they don't have money or something like that, then they disappear. They disappear from the church, but they want to be leaders. So one of the things that I told them was part of what you want to do in order to advocate for you being on leadership, because they came to me and asked to be on leadership. So I said, look, if you want to be on leadership, this is what I want you to work on the next 6 months. So if they want to advocate for themselves and become coachable, they'll show me that they can get those things together. Rather than saying, hate this church. They don't never want to let nobody do nothing. They just want the same people doing everything. We trying to be on leadership. We trying to help. No, but you advocate for your own growth. You stand up for being coachable. Number 8, develop the skills of being a coach.
Very good.
This is the paying it forward part, guys. Part of you being more coachable is you becoming a coach. One of the things that I so love and appreciate is the idea that the people that I pastor help me be better to my pastor. You
Very
all
true.
teach me lessons
Very true.
of things not to do to others. Or even ways of thinking and even checking my thinking. So sometimes I'll think something towards him and I'm like, if it was me and one of my partners, how would I want them to process this?
So
What would I want them to say? How would I want them to shift their perspective? Would I want them mumbling to their partner friends? No, I wouldn't. So then I'm not going to mumble to my pastor friends without saying something to my apostle. So it's this idea that once you become the person in that position of being the coach, then reciprocally, you become more coachable because you're like, I've been there. I know the struggle. It is a real struggle. And so you become more coachable because you're now a coach. And so you developing those skills, then it helps you to become more coachable. Okay. How well do you guide? How well do you follow directions? Some of y'all have sleepy eyes, so we're going to break it up a little bit. You're going to divide
Guys,
into
we're
two
going to
teams.
get
Each
off,
group is
but I
going to
just
have a
wanted
hidden
you to
picture
hear
that
some
they
of her
need for a
teaching
person
tonight.
on their team to
This is
draw
called
without showing it to them.
School of
You're going to choose a person to complete the task.
And my
So you're going to
wife
choose a
does
person
the
to draw.
school for each of our
Y'all got
campuses.
Courtney.
She travels to all 3 campuses, to Compton, California, to San
Y'all should stretch
Bernardino,
yourself and pick somebody
and
else.
to Temecula. That's where we are tonight, at our
You need a
Temecula
head
campus.
coach.
And she goes
You
and she
need an
trains
assistant
all of the
coach.
volunteers
Only the
at
head
each
coach
of
will
our
be able to
campuses.
verbally
And
give
so
the directions.
I just
However,
wanted to give
the
you a
assistant
sneak
coach can
peek
give their
into School
input
of
to the
Excellence.
head coach
And
for
Dr.
you to
Jaquet did, as you
successfully
saw,
complete
an
the
amazing
task. So it
job.
looks like
That
you
was
have
just a
one person
small
drawing.
portion
You have
of
two
it.
coaches.
And
They're
so
gonna
yeah,
come
if you're
see
going to
the
be at
picture.
World Changes,
Those two
you're going to get a,
coaches.
you know,
One
she's just
person's the
teaching
head
tonight.
coach,
You're
one
going to get to
person's
preach
assistant coach. Assistant
at the
coach
World
will tell the
Changes
head
Summit
coach what to do.
in
They can't talk
Chicago
directly
next
to the
week.
drawer.
But anyway,
And then the rest
so
of
thanks
the
for paying
people on
attention.
the
Share it with
team,
somebody, let them know
are
this.
going to
But this
be
is
the
good teaching, 8
fans,
ways
okay?
to become more
And then we're
coachable
gonna
by Dr. Jaquet.
kind of like
Okay,
dissect
bye-bye.
it as an activity.